Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a fascinating 1950s intellectual boxing match for the very soul of geography. Imagine an entire academic discipline suddenly looking in the mirror and asking, wait, what exactly are we doing here? Well, that's exactly what happened when two brilliant minds clashed over how we should actually study the world around us. Is geography an art of describing unique places, or a rigorous science of universal laws? This fundamental question sparked a massive identity crisis in the discipline. I mean, are geographers supposed to act like painters, detailing the beautiful uniqueness of a specific valley or city? Or should they act more like physicists, searching for hard, universal laws that apply everywhere? This exact tension is the foundation of our whole story today. Section 1. The reigning champ, Richard Hartshorn, and the regional paradigm. To really understand this debate, we first got to meet our reigning champion. Back in the early 19th century in the United States, the absolute dominant geographic methodology was the regional paradigm. And this was championed by the renowned American geographer Richard Hartshorn. He was the establishment, right? The traditional voice. And he effectively wrote the rule book with his highly influential book, The Nature of Geography. This text firmly cemented the idea that geography's main overarching goal was to study unique regional variations. It was all about documenting specific differences, because, as he saw it, no two places on Earth were exactly alike. Now notice Hartshorn's exact definition, which perfectly anchors his viewpoint. He states, geography is concerned to provide accurate, orderly, and rational description and interpretation of the variable character of the Earth's surface. The key words there? Accurate, orderly, and rational description. He viewed the field as an orderly description of the Earth's variable forms. For him, it wasn't about predicting the future at all. It was about rationally interpreting the unique, variable character of the Earth's surface exactly as it currently exists. So let's break down his core philosophy a bit further. Building on the methods of philosopher Immanuel Kant and his study of space, Hartshorn believed geography was the ultimate descriptive field for analyzing unique spaces over a specific period of time. He was deeply fascinated by that intricate dance between human and natural impacts, how nature affects us and how we in turn shape nature. For him, regional geography wasn't just some branch of the discipline, it was the absolute core of the whole shebang. Section 2. Enter the challenger, F.K. Schaefer. As we know from history, every reigning champion eventually meets a disruptor challenger. And for the geographic establishment, that disruptor was F.K. Schaefer. To understand his perspective, we have to look at his background, because it's wildly different from Hartshorn's. Schaefer was actually an economist turned geographer. This means he was naturally trained to look for systems, models, and predictable patterns. He was also a German immigrant who fled the horrific oppression of the Nazi regime, and he eventually brought this fresh, highly critical perspective to the University of Iowa. Because of that economics background, Schaefer looked at the dominant regional paradigm and basically felt it was severely holding geography back. He just refused to accept geography as merely a subject of unique regional descriptions. Instead, he argued passionately that it needed to be treated as a real rigorous science. He demanded a systematic geography, one that looked for broader patterns rather than just memorizing local trivia. Section 3. The 1953 Academic Clash. Now, this academic clash wasn't just a polite disagreement over coffee. It became a highly visible, full-on battle for the future direction of geographic research. At the very heart of Schaefer's explosive critique was a concept he labeled exceptionalism. This is the belief that regional variation is entirely unique and therefore defies general scientific laws. Schaefer used this exact term to attack the establishment. He argued that if you constantly treat every single region as a unique exception to the rule, you literally can never build an actual science out of it. This feud played out like a high-stakes tennis match in the annals of the Association of American Geographers. It all kicked off in September 1953, with Schaefer publishing his explosive paper, Exceptionalism in Geography, a Methodological Examination. But Hartshorn didn't take this line down, no way. In September 1955, he fired back with his own piece, Exceptionalism in Geography Re-Examined, fiercely defending his life's work. And he followed it up again in 1958 with another major publication, trying to firmly root his spatial concepts in historical traditions. Section 4, Exceptionalism versus Systematic Science. To truly grasp the incredibly high stakes of this debate, we really need to compare their philosophies side by side. Both of these men absolutely wanted geography to be respected, right? But their roadmaps to get there were completely opposite. On one side, we have Hartshorn's regional paradigm, focusing on unique, accurate, and orderly regional descriptions. On the flip side, Schaeffer's systematic science is demanding positivist research. He wanted to formulate general theories and create universal scientific laws that could apply literally anywhere. Schaeffer firmly believed that a geographer's core responsibility wasn't just to explain what a place looked like. Their job was to actively build theories and formulate laws. He argued that creating these scientific laws was the only way to give the discipline a true, systematic identity. His logic was pretty straightforward. If you weren't making rules that can be tested, you weren't really doing science.
Section 5. The Positivist Shift and Legacy.
Schaeffer's disruptive critique didn't just cause a temporary stir in the 1950s. It catalyzed a massive, permanent shift in the entire field that we absolutely still feel today. His lasting impact is huge. He promoted the positivist school of research in geography and successfully shifted the academic focus away from purely regional descriptions, moving it heavily towards systematic studies. By insisting on these rigorous methods, he completely transformed geography into a complete, modern scientific subject. To cleanly summarize this massive methodological shift, leading up to the early 19th century, Hartshorn's regional paradigm ruled the roost. The core focus was entirely on unique spatial description. But post-1953, the discipline transitioned. Schaeffer's systematic and positivist approach took hold, completely redirecting the field's core focus towards scientific laws and overarching theories. It was a massive, game-changing leap from a descriptive art to a hard science. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought about how you personally view the philosophy of space around you. When you look at a map, or say travel to a new city, do you see beautifully unique regions that totally defy comparison, just like Hartshorn did? Or do you see a canvas of universal scientific patterns just waiting to be decoded, like Schaeffer? There's no wrong answer here, but it certainly changes how you see the world. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible intellectual debate.